Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since I posted, but we are back. My name is Alex. I am a systems engineer with Fortinet. Any views and opinions expressed in this video are solely mine and do not reflect the views or opinions of my employer. Before we get started here, if you can go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button below, that would definitely help the channel out. Thank you. Any comments are appreciated as well. If you have any questions throughout this video, go ahead and leave a comment. I try to get back to those as quickly as possible. Today, we're going to be talking about FortiCloud and IAM accounts. It's one of the first pillars of cloud security. With the continued adoption of cloud services, that is going to be one of the first pillars and first things that an organization needs to do, limiting admins' access to things that they have up in the cloud. We have at Fortinet, personally, I've been seeing a lot more adoption of cloud services. So thought this would be a good video to share with everybody on how you can control and restrict admins, what they have access to. It's one of those principles of least privilege. So you have an admin, a junior admin who only needs to monitor, say, FortiClient for a customer or for your organization. They really shouldn't have access to like the FortiGates or FortiMail or anything else in the environment. So it's that idea of least privilege, just grant them access to whatever they need to do their job and nothing else. So you can accomplish that very easily with IAM roles, identity and access management roles, and users. So that's where we're going to be going through today's video. Should be pretty short, quick, and easy. I'll go ahead and share my screen and kind of give you guys a walkthrough how you can utilize this in your organization. So once you get logged into your FortiCloud account, you'll come to the asset management page. Under services, click the IAM button, and it will bring you to how to manage. Sorry, I timed out here. Let me just sign in again. There we go. Should bring you to this page. This is just the what's new page. It gives you some videos from Fortinet on how you can manage IAM roles and such. So it's going to be basically a 3-step process to creating permissions, groups, and users. So the first thing you need to do is come to permission profiles. This is where you're going to be creating permissions that you will assign to users on what they actually have access to. So you can see I have the default one here, which is automatically created by Fortinet in your FortiCloud account. This is one that I've already created here. So this is a profile that I have given permissions to somebody to only access FortiGate Cloud. So if we click over to add new, you're just going to give it a name. So let's just give this the name of FortiSASE admins. It'll be active. Description will just be admins to configure and monitor type the FortiSASE environment. We're going to add portals here. So this is where when they sign in, these are the portals that they will actually have access to. So in this instance, we're only going to, these are going to be for admins who are only going to be managing the SASE instance. So we're just going to be clicking this, but you could give multiple portals. So if we click add, it's going to put the portal down here. We're going to turn access on, and then the access type we're going to do read and write. You could just do read only. So if this was somebody who was going to be an admin for FortiSASE, but then they also, this user or user group, also you want to give them permissions to monitor FortiGates from FortiGate Cloud. You could add FortiGate Cloud as a portal, and then you would just turn these to read only. So that way, this admin, when they log in, they can access the FortiSASE portal. They would also have access to FortiGate Cloud, but it's going to be read-only permissions. And that is sort of the basis of IAM users and roles, only giving access to those things that they need to do their job. The idea of least privilege here. I'm gonna remove this out for now. And we're just gonna create this profile for FortiSASE, and we're gonna click submit. So now you can see that we have this permission profile created. Next thing that we're going to do is come to user groups. We are going to create a user group and assign this permission profile to the group. So we're just going to call this SASE admins active profile for SASE admins. And then we're going to click next. You assign it the asset permissions. So my environment, I only have a single folder for all of my Fortinet subscriptions and licenses and everything. You might have different folders. So depending on what they need access to, and if you have things in different folders, you could select the actual assets that they would need access to. Next thing, we're actually going to come down here to the permission profile, and this is where you're giving them access to that SASE profile that we've created. So when they log in, they can just log into the FortiSASE instance there. Click next. Here, if we've already created an IAM user, you could just add them directly from here to this group. I've only got one user in here. We're not going to use this user. But if you had a user already created, you could just add them directly from this page here. So I'm actually going to create a user on a different page. Sorry, I have to peek over my monitor to hit the next button there. This is just a confirmation page. Everything looks good for what we want. Just click next again. And you can see that we've created this user group. Next thing that we're going to do is come over to users, and now we are going to actually add a user. This is going to be an IAM user. You can also add an API user that if you had people that needed to interact with FortiCloud using an API, you could create an API user. My environment is not set up for it, but it is currently in beta, IDP roles. So if you're using SSO, you could integrate FortiCloud with your SSO provider, and then you could create IDP roles. That is a limited beta feature. I don't have that enabled for mine. I am planning to get that enabled and do a separate video for that, because that is extremely popular in today's world. But for now, let's just continue forward with creating a single IAM user. So you're going to create a username. So my username is going to be a Michael. The email we're going to do there. For the phone number, type in for this, we're just going to use a fake phone number here. And put the country code. If you wanted to apply permissions to this user based on another user in the organization, you can do that by clicking here, and then you can select a user, and it would automatically assign the same permissions that that user has to this new user that we're creating. It is very easy to do that. I don't necessarily That wouldn't be my first option. You might add permissions to this user and then forget that you gave them permissions to something. And then you accidentally gave this user permissions to something that this person has that they shouldn't have access to. So I wouldn't necessarily use this. I would stick to just assigning these to the user groups that we've created here that are attached to the permission profiles. Just it's easier to do that, and you're um, not inadvertently giving them permissions to something that they shouldn't have. It is very convenient to do it that way, but you just if you have a ton of users and permission groups and such, um, yeah, I'm just gonna do it by user group, but that's just my how I would do things. Um, For here, we're going to be controlling this user by user group. So we're going to be clicking yes. And then this is where the drop down of the user groups that are created will pop down here. So we're going to be using the SASE admins user group. You can see that it generates the permissions that this person will have based on this group. And that looks good to me. So I'm going to click next. And then this is just a confirmation page. So I will just click confirm. Let's give this a second here. Let's create a new user. So now that we've created this user, it doesn't send them any type of email to like verify themselves. It's not going to have them automatically create a password based on that. We need to manually send this information over to the user. So we're going to, so right now there's no password associated with this profile. We actually need to click this generate password button, which is going to generate a password reset link that we're going to need to send to the user so that they can come in and create their password for their profile. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Create an incognito window here. Copy and paste this in. And you can see it's associated to my account ID with my username. So this is where I'm actually going to create a password. Okay, and we're going to hit submit. And I can't type today. There we go. And now you can see that we've successfully reset the password. And it should redirect us to the login page. Let's just give that a second. So now we're back to the login page. So we're going to click login now. We come over to the IAM login, and we'll need to put in the account alias, which you could see on that last page that it generates for that user. So they'll need to grab that account alias number. You can also find that up if you click on your email at the top right here. You can see this is the account number here. Whoop. We pop back over to the login page. We put that here. We're going to put in the username and then type in the password. And now this is where we're actually going to need to verify our email address. So we click get verification code. I'm going to need to sign into the email here. Second. There we go. Wrong. There we go. just grab this verification code, and I am terrible at these, so let's try that. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and enter FortiCloud. You can see now I am signed in here. There's my user. And then under services, under the cloud services, you can see that I only have access to the FortiSASE portal. So that this is how it'll look for you users and admins when they log into FortiCloud based on the permissions that you've given them to the portals. So if I gave them read-only access to FortiGate Cloud, the FortiGate Cloud portal would be enabled here. I sign into that, I access that portal, and then I can read configs and logs and such from the FortiGates that are logged into FortiCloud. But that's what it looks like from the actual user side. Let's go ahead and click on this. This will bring me, I don't think I have FortiSASE permissions or licenses, but that's what it'll look like when they log in. Coming back over here, just a few more things I did want to touch on. If you wanted to enforce two-factor authentication for your end users, you would come to account settings and then click edit, and then you would enforce two-factor for your users. And then if you wanted to exempt some users from 2FA, you could add those users here. Last thing that I did want to touch on is migrating sub users. So if you're on the legacy IAM for FortiCloud, basically before we created IAM users, you can use this migrate sub users here. So if you're on the legacy portion, you can migrate those users over this way. And the last thing that I really wanted to touch on is for MSSPs. If you are using multi-tenancy for some of these cloud services, say multi-tenancy for FortiGate Cloud or something, Fortinet is also moving to organizational units. So that is not something that I have a license for at this time. This is newer. The organizational units, it was done a little bit differently before, but we have some really good documentation on organizational units. I do plan to create a video in the future on managing like subunits, sub accounts. Basically, it's a very easy and straightforward process, and it's essentially how most cloud providers do it. Basically, you create like an invitation code that your company would log into their FortiCloud. They would enter in that like invitation code. Then they would get invited to join like the MSSP's organization. The MSSP would then confirm that they can join the organization. Once they have sent over the request to join, they confirm it. And then they can assign organizational units to users. So if you have some IAM users that only need to manage like one customer, you could assign that admin to that one organizational unit to manage. If they're going to be managing multiple organizational units, so if you're an MSSP and you have 5 customers and you're managing all of their FortiGates in their FortiGate environments, you can then grant access to that admin to those sub organizational units. And then when that user logs into FortiCloud, it would present them with a pop-up page, and basically they select like which organizational unit that they're actually like want to log into. So if they're managing customer X, they would sign in and then they would choose that customer as their organizational unit that they're logging into. I do plan to do a video in the future for that, but This time it's not set up, so we're gonna skip that. But that's just a high level overview of IAM users. It's super easy to create users, create permission profiles, and that's gonna do it for this video. If you have any questions, just go ahead and leave a comment. I do try to get back to those. So any questions, just leave a comment. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button at the bottom. And that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody.